Thanks, everybody. This is the Town of Old Lyme Affordable Housing Commission regular meeting. It's Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Sorry, 5 o'clock p.m. And with us, we have Jen Miller, Anthony Vassiliou, Amy Hosier, Lori Walker, and myself, Michael Foliano. I'll call the meeting to order. Okay, first item on the agenda is public comment. There's no one here in the meeting hall, so if there's anyone on the line that wishes to make public comment, I haven't heard anyone ring in, but if you're there and would like to address the commission, we're here. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes, first being the April 19th, 2023 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Jen. For a second?
Aye.
Amy? Discussion?
Good.
Okay. Hearing none, move the question. All in favor of approving the minutes of April 19th, 2023 regular meeting, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Sitting at this meeting? No, I can vote.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Actually, we'll take care of that because we're going to take a vote later.
Okay.
Okay, Amy, you were at that meeting, so you can vote.
Okay.
That's an affirmative?
It's an affirmative.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, on to the May 9th, 2023 special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 9th, 2023 special meeting.
Okay, Jen, is there a second?
I can't second.
No, I'll second it.
Nothing. I'm an alternate.
Okay, discussion. Any comments, corrections? It's pretty simple for that one.
No.
Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
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 Okay. Unanimous. Okay, thanks. Bookkeeping done. Okay, general information items, communications, correspondence. I have two. One is some pretty good news. I actually received an inquiry after the there were two write-ups since the Board of Selectmen's meeting on the 1st of this month, in the Examiner and the Day, more recently. And based on that, I actually got a call from a resident that's interested in helping.
Oh, wow.
And has since put in a volunteer form. And so I hope that's just the tip of a wave of support that we get for it, but that's good news. And I didn't get any negative calls or mail either. Only the one positive, so that's good. So we're +1. I'm happy to report. Okay.
There really weren't any negative comments online either. I think there's a couple like but nothing negative.
So that's good news. Also, one of the recommendations in the regional housing plan that we were working with last year, that was kind of the umbrella over all of the 830J plans for the 17 members of the Lower Connecticut River Valley Regional Council of Governments. So one of the recommendations of that was to form a regional housing committee, which has been done. And Tim has asked me to represent Old Lyme on it, and the inaugural meeting was yesterday. I don't have much to report. It was basically an organizational meeting, introducing ourselves, just setting out the sort of the rules of engagement and polling for scheduling regular meetings, which there will be monthly meetings and opportunistically and need-driven quarterly meetings. And they'll all be hybrid, based in at the Essex office of the RiverCog, and also via video, so everyone will have access to it. And we do have there's a vacancy for an alternate member from Old Lyme, and I hadn't realized that initially, but I'm going to send that to Tim and see what he wants to do about that.
So it's a regional affordable housing?
It's regional housing. So it's the same scope as the regional housing plan. So it is regional housing plan with affordable as a significant
And how many towns are involved? About?
17.
17.
Exactly.
So it's not a housing authority, it's a regional
Committee.
committee, okay.
So it has no authority. It's basically, it's not dissimilar to our role. It's going to be a planning, information hub and advisory.
Terrific.
So I'm going to put that on the standing agenda, and I'll report out on that every time we're together. But not much report other than it's alive at this point, in a heartbeat. Okay, that's what I had for general information. I was at the budget meeting Monday night. I hadn't heard formally, but I saw that there's a line item for the Affordable Housing Commission. So I don't think we got everything we asked for. I got to go back to finance and see what the details are. But it's not zero, which is good.
It didn't make it to the PowerPoint slide, though. It didn't make it to Kelsey's PowerPoint slide, though?
It didn't. It was under the general umbrella of boards and commissions. Okay. Any other correspondence to report by anybody here?
No, just the text I got from Steve Junkett from the Congregational Church, just about that they were ready to participate in the McCulloch properties, however they can.
Good. So there's 2 plus 2.
Yeah. Well, plus
Actually,
the whole congregation.
that's a whole congregation.
We're going to have to send a fake negative one to help us get it. Because social media is never 2-zip.
I don't know.
Well, we'll take it.
Okay.
I know.
Let's just enjoy it for now. Good. Okay. So on to our old business project. First, our favorite project, the McCulloch Family Open Space Affordable Housing Option. I had sent out the handouts that were used as the basis for the May 1st Board of Selectmen's meeting, which went fine. We did get the extension and the alignment of the project end date with the grant contract, which is now December 31st, 2026. So we have some breathing room, a lot more breathing room than we're going to want to take on this. So you have that material. Since then, I have been in multiple conversations with Tim and with Sarah, and also closed the loop with Carl Lindquist at the Hope Partnership, and had very positive conversations with all of them. The current thing, I'll start with what I believe is the most important one, which is in the conversation with Sarah at Habitat for Humanity. They're still very interested in partnering with us, so they're still out there and are ready to move forward. The conversation with Tim, putting some detail, just a little bit more detail around the notion of how we'll proceed forward. We're looking at holding an informational meeting prior to the June 1st Board of Selectmen meeting, which is 2 weeks from Monday, I believe. And it's still not absolutely set. I'm working on Sarah's availability to be there, Tim's availability, and the whole Board of Selectmen. Open questions right now are, would we do this as a strictly informational meeting under the auspices of the Affordable Housing Commission, or would we convene it as a special meeting of the Board, actually give them the opportunity to vote on, to take a motion and vote on it, on the agenda.
At that meeting.
At the informational meeting or immediately subsequent to it. So that's the date and the sponsor are still in the air, but John, is that you?
It is. Good afternoon.
Hi, John.
Sorry, I was a few minutes late.
No problem. We're on item 5.1.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. The general agenda is we're thinking we're going to do a presentation for the community, not dissimilar to what we did for the housing plan, for the 830G plan. Talk about the process, how we got here, the history of what the origin of this opportunity is, with due credit to the McCulloch family and to Open Space for providing us with the opportunity to go on with how we envision moving forward, some of the decisions that were made to get here, the decision to partner externally to do it, get into the conversations we've had with the two highly qualified and successful potential partners that we have in the area, those being Hope and Habitat, where we got with that, and then going on to talk more specifically about Habitat for Humanity, how they operate, what a partnership with them would look like, citing their dependence on community engagement. We'll talk about how the town would interface with them through a steering committee, what the basic who's on first would be, and then open it up for discussion with the community, and then have the Board of Selectmen there, and depending on how we actually structure the meeting, give them an opportunity to vote or forward that to the Board of Selectmen meeting. It will be a few days following it. It will not be scheduled as a formal legal public hearing with all of the notice and sequence of events that has to precede that. We're gonna structure it as a special meeting of one of either our commission or the board, with an opportunity for public discourse as part of that presentation. So it'll be an informational meeting.
Michael, so you're going to confirm the June 1st date, the time of that meeting?
The Board of Selectmen meeting is set for the June 1st.
Oh, it's set.
June 1st is a Thursday, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not June 1st, June 5th.
I was going to say, usually
Thank
it's
you.
a Monday.
Thank you. I'm glad you're paying attention, Lori. I count on you for that.
So Selectmen's meeting is June 5th.
Monday, June 5th. June 1st is a potential target for the informational meeting.
You'll let us know when that's set up.
That's
right.
you know.
I want to make sure, because, yeah, will that be posted, or just you're going to send us an email on that?
Oh yeah, and it'll be posted. We want to advertise this. We want to get it out in advance. So we're going to stretch it as far as we can.
Try to be there as commission members to listen if there's a public speaking, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to make sure the committee and the Board of Selectmen needs to be there too.
Okay.
And Sarah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, we want to get as much lead time to the community as possible on that. We'll get something out in line. We'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll get it on the splash page of the town website and use the.
Like next week.
We'll put up something in what I understand is the most effective way to communicate with the community, which is to post something at coffees.
Yeah, that works. Or the story.
So that's that moving forward. We're in good shape. Coming together, and as I hoped, the cadence is picking up, so the pace is picking up, speed. I did want to do one thing tonight, and that is to tee all of this up. I will look for a motion. Actually, before I do this, John's on the line. 3, 4, if there's no objective, Anthony, you're up next. I will seat Lori as a regular member, so we get a full quorum of vote on this. So if there's no objection, Lori, you'll be voting.
Either way.
Okay. Good. All right then. So with that, let me just make a note. So we have Jen, myself, John, Amy, and Lori. Seated. Okay. So I will look for a motion to make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen that they select Habitat for Humanity of Eastern Connecticut as the preferred partner for the McCulloch Family Open Space Affordable Housing Opportunity.
Second.
Second.
We need a motion. So a so moved will do.
So moved.
I'll
right.
second.
All right, Jen? Okay, discussion.
I think they were they, at the meeting that you had with them, they were and the attorney was pretty happy with that approach.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only issue is that in making the recommendation, I do think part of the recommendation has to conditionalize that it's subject to community financial participation, because that's a big deal. You know, they have to, that's what I understand from previous meetings, that they really have to draw on the community financially backing the plans to make this work.
Anthony, why is that?
Yep. Well, so Anthony, John, I'll give you just a sec. So Anthony, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, because what we're deciding on here is to make the recommendation for the partnership. That, what you described is downstream of the recommendation to select a partner. So what we would do is select a preferred partner, and then we would get into discussions on fleshing out the detail. So I think what you said is accurate, but it's not a predecessor to this motion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a vote. See, I would disagree. If it was going to the Board of Selectmen, they should understand what they're voting on, because they may not have that information. Or you should put it into the public record.
It will be.
I think Jen put this out there a long time ago and talked about it. So I just don't want the committee to get into a situation where someone said, you didn't tell us something, and 2 years goes by or 3 years goes by, and then we're the scapegoats. I hate to say it.
No, so
that's all I'm worried about.
It's a good point, but just to get some clarity on what happens downstream. So we'll make a motion to select them as the preferred partner, but we haven't come to an agreement with them yet.
Okay, got it.
So that will start a process through which the needs of the town.
So Michael?
From us. Go ahead, John.
What about making a motion to move forward with Habitat predicated on that, you know, as it rolls out as the conditions that we need for a town that they're able to meet? You know what I'm saying? In other words, that should be the motion, that we move forward, you know, Vaduring Habitat as our preferred partner, but, you know, if it doesn't work out, we can find somebody else type thing. More than likely it will, but you know what I'm saying?
Again, John, I think that's implicit in what we're doing. If you want to make it explicit, we could potentially amend the motion to say, select them as a preferred partner and proceed with coming to an agreement on the project.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And which would encompass a lot of stuff beyond what we just discussed here.
Exactly.
So, let's, okay, let me go by Robert's protocol here. So we'll look for a motion to amend the prior motion to state that to identify, to select Habitat for Humanity of Eastern Connecticut as the partner and to proceed with discussions with them aiming towards an agreement to implement the project.
To transfer the property.
Yep.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jen, we got Amy. Discussion on that?
That's good.
Okay. We'll vote on the amendment. Okay? All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye. John?
Aye. Aye.
And I'm an aye. Unanimous. Okay, now we're back to the motion. I just got a lesson in amendments on Monday night when I was listening. I think we did that right.
You did.
Okay. Okay, further discussion on the motion, which is now recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to identify or to select Habitat for Humanity of Eastern Connecticut as the preferred partner and to enter into further discussions with them aiming for an agreement to proceed with exercising the option of proceeding with them. So that's next. Any further discussion on that now amended? Okay. Hearing none? You can vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 John?
Aye.
Thank you. Back here. Oh, I'm going to have to decode this for the minutes, so I got to make sure my notes are okay.
I can approve.
Good. So with that is done now, thank you for going through that, and thanks for raising the excellent points. It now sends us to the Board of Selectmen with actually a recommendation in hand that's been endorsed by the Commission. We don't have decision rights on this, but we do have an advisory role, and we just made that advisory role formal. So thank you for that. Okay. So anything else? There's a lot left to do on this. The flurry of activity over the next 10 days or so is going to just putting together a packet for the information session and for the community. Tim is off thinking about members of the steering committee. If you recall, we have some roles identified for the steering committee. Someone with development experience, ideally in the community, that'll be probably less involved in actually directing the project and more involved in marshaling resources and having a network within the local development community, getting someone on there with the financial experience and know-how, both with the town and with the ARPA process to administer the grant, somebody to help with community engagement and fundraising.
Michael, I have a question about that, the fundraising and that stuff. I've spoken to Greg over at Essex Savings Bank, and he seemed to think that it's a slam dunk for people in this situation, to get a mortgage and fully fund the project.
I think Habitat seems to feel similarly inclined, John, but what we have not yet done is to do the math. So we don't know. We only have back of the envelope estimates on how much the project is going to cost. The site work is still on.
Actually, Michael, if you'd like, I can actually send you what the project would cost, based upon having a modular dropped on it and all the site work and everything else. I actually ran that if we needed it.
Okay, I think that would be a good contribution, but the way we're headed is
no, it's all Habitat's baby. No, it's Habitat's baby, and I get it. I'm just saying, but the reality of the way it worked out is actually because I actually had a conversation with Greg, and he wanted to know the scope of the project. So I reached out to some people I knew, and we put together a thumbnail sketch.
I think that would be great to give to Habitat and have that be part of the conversation.
I'll send it to you later.
I'd be reluctant to say that this project is a slam dunk for being a well within the limits of affordability until we know more.
Well, it is. Right, I mean, the land is $50,000 per house. You got $75,000 per lot for site work and stuff. I mean, it makes it a slam dunk.
I think it'll be important to have what you've done and really valuable to just basically give us some sense that this project is feasible and worth going on to the next step and taking everyone's time and energy to do it. But I wouldn't walk away from the potential need for fundraising at this point.
Sure, gotcha. No problem.
Can I ask John a question?
Sure.
Hey, John, instead of stick built, you do a modular. In your model, what's the per square foot on the cost of the modular housing?
I don't have per square foot, but the way the project came in, and I did this a little while ago, about 2 months ago, or I'm actually just looking it up right now. So I'll defer find it and get back to you. How's that?
Yep, I'm going to move us along too.
We're delayed. I didn't mean to get off.
We're on a tight timeline tonight. I apologize, Anthony.
I apologize.
We're not going to do the project tonight, but what you have, John, is really good. And at some point, we are going to have to come up with a more firm picture of the financials and then assess what the need for potential fundraising is. And that'll also depend on what kind of in-kind donations we get from the community for materials and labor. So.
Oh, right, in kind.
Yep. But having someone who can, back to the original where we started this, having someone on the committee on the steering committee, that will have both expertise and sort of be the point person for the steering committee to look at that aspect of the project will be important regardless, because there'll be a community engagement aspect regardless if that community engagement takes the form of a lot of fundraising or not.
Is it the desire also to have, for instance, the construction manager and the habitat development director on that committee, or is this just Old Lyme personnel?
Sarah, I've raised the topic with Sarah of how do you want to interface with your team, and she's thinking about that.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, that's a good question, and it was raised, and it's still an open one on what the interface would be, how many people would be involved.
Yeah.
We did talk about having a joint committee, and that was kind of ruled out early, but too many people.
Yeah.
So there'll probably be I think at this point we've come to a provisional agreement that it'll be like a Venn. So it won't be, there'll be an overlap. We're not sure exactly what's going to be in the shared space.
Okay.
But excellent question. Okay. So we're in business. We're moving. Still tons of details to be devilous and a lot more work to do, but at least we have a path forward. I'm really pleased about that.
Oh, just one more question on that. So when we did the site walk, I know the Open Space Committee wanted to stay aligned / apprised or whatever. Is there any consideration for one of their committee members being on that? Or?
Actually, yeah. In the handout I sent, there's a line on there for Board of Selectmen, affordable housing, and open space, at least at their discretion. So. They're under new leadership right now. When Amanda and Evan were co-chairs, they were saying, just keep us in the loop.
Right.
I want to go vet that again with Greg to see if they're interested in actually having a seat on the commission. I think we're going to want to have representation on the commission. I expect that I'll have access to it in an ex officio capacity. We may want someone from our committee to actually be the permanent member, but that's on the docket too. A really important person to identify is going to be the chair, and Tim has some ideas on that, and it's working on it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on the McCulloch project? All right, standing work streams. Community engagement, anything?
I don't have anything to report, and I apologize for not having I just got swamped, and I had spoken to Michael. I wasn't able to make that deadline, so I apologize for that.
That's okay. The next one, I think we're going to have a lot more to say.
Sure, I just want to be out there saying...
And other forms. Okay, policy and regulatory. I'll go quick on the accessory apartment zoning. That is something Amy and I are working on. It's a work in progress. We're just in the process now of compiling all of the notes and information we have and formatting that as for our stakeholders, which are basically planning and zoning going forward. They're our next stop, land use planning and zoning, is to have a rationale for change of regulations, some comps with what the rest of the state, and in particular our neighbors in the shoreline that may have a similar profile to Oline. Westbrook comes to mind, and that how they're handling ADU regulations. We have some, I don't know, because I have not reviewed all 169 towns, that we have the most restrictive ADU regulations in the state, but we're definitely in the top quintile. They're very restrictive. So we want to make a case for change. We want to compile some comps. and then lead up to a more specific proposal on what aspects and parameters within the zoning, the current ADU regulations to change that would make zoning regulation, make accessory dwelling units more feasible in town. Now, one common theme that's been coming up as I've been having discussions, I think Amy, you have too, is that none of the towns that we've talked to that have relaxed the regulations, and it's all been relatively recent, but there has not been a wave of applications for ADUs. So we don't expect that there's going to be a flood of applications all of a sudden for accessory apartments. That said, I think it is generally recognized that they're a necessary but not necessarily sufficient part of our plan, and we should go forward with it. And I think it's a good area to start the conversation with planning and zoning. So we're pressing on with that. We're going to be looking to have basically what I used to call in my previous life as a pitch deck for change to bring to planning and zoning in the community and bring the conversation to the next level. That would proceed toward actually having a set of proposed changes. I'm not sure what the origin of that would be.
There's been a lot of work in other communities, especially Old Saybrook, and they have, I can send this so it can go out to people because it's what their goals are, what the actions are, who's the primary target of dealing with those additional partners and priority by year. It's perfect. Anyway, so do you want me to send it to you and you can mail it out? Or
yeah, I can be the hub for distribution. And we'll definitely, when we meet next, we'll want to include that aspects of that in our packet.
Yeah.
So that's as close to the front burner as I can without knocking McCulloch off the front burner. So, pending legislation. Any other questions on the ADU thing? We're moving on. We said it was a priority, and we're gonna keep it going. Okay, pending legislation. Zoning met and unanimously came to the same position we did, advised by our action and RiverCog and Costin. They unanimously came down in opposition of 6633 and 6890, which was the live, work, ride, and the transit-oriented development and the fair share. The Board of Selectmen will be taking this. Oh, and planning canceled. They did not have their meeting last week, but they did. I talked to Harold today, and they did sort of an email consensus. So they're going to. Harold's going to weigh in as well. So the Board of Selectmen has a special meeting being scheduled this week, I believe, soon, and they will take it up. And I provided them with a draft communication for our elected officials. And as of the most recent list of bills that have been acted on, 66 and 33 and 6980 are still pending. So we still have a window of opportunity to weigh in with our reps and we can make that happen quickly now. So there we are. We'll see what happens. 6890, if I didn't say that. Not 6980, 6890.
Right.
Okay. I think that's it on policy and regulatory. Funding and partnering, we had a standing item on the YIMBY grant.
Yeah, so the YIMBY grant is either not open or they're not opening it. So we couldn't find anywhere where on any website, I don't know, unless you got more information yesterday, but
No, I'll join in that.
it doesn't appear to be open for applications yet. Although the bill does state that they want to disperse the funds by September 30th, 23. It doesn't look like they ever opened a window time frame for that grant specifically. So more to come on that, I guess. But so Anthony and I were discussing some thoughts he had on it as far as the application goes and the objectives, basically.
Can we predict what this is going to be? Try to predict what we're going to need to get together for that grant, so that when the grant opens up on September 29th, we're prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be in the prediction industry, okay, because I don't have anything to win or lose here, and I have a feel for HUD. I did send a message down to our housing analysts to probe in Washington, D.C., and they didn't get back to me. So I'm trying to be able to find out that they'll call their contacts at HUD and see what's going on. But Jen's correct. It was part of a $1.7 trillion bill, and $85 million is throwaway money.
Rounding error.
So if you want my considered opinion based on watching a lot of these boutique programs come and go, the chances of us getting money is probably pretty slim. And we couldn't find anything in the HUD. I couldn't, and Jen, in working independently on regulations. The only thing we could get was the committee report out of the Senate that says these uses, and it would be something we could use for. But we don't know. It's a competitive grant. We don't know what the criteria are. That'll tell you how likely we are to get it. My expectation is that urban areas will gobble this up in a heartbeat, because $85 million to HUD is like nothing. So it's language, check the box maybe. Maybe there's a special interest, Chicago, or someone wants it, so they put it in there and masquerade it. But I would say it's less likely that we would be eligible to compete for it. And then the question would be, do you spend the money to develop the application and submit it if you don't have a chance? Well, we don't even know what it is. But if I find out, I'll send it to the committee or send it to you if I get something out of Washington. But right now, Jen and I couldn't find anything on it, no regulations.
Just an announcement of it?
Just
and
the bill.
Yeah,
And
just
the
kind of an announcement.
Yeah.
And I did send Jen another article that talked similar to what I'm sharing with the group today, which is that it's highly speculative. They don't know if they're going to roll it in the CDBG, find an existing mechanism. So they're all over the place, but it's not a lot of money. And these boutique programs, when I run them down all the time from Milford, you find out that we're just not players, you know. I mean, Milford isn't a player. It's always...
So if, you know, just in concept,
we might get it.
if there's a few $1,000s accessible to us to help support our efforts to make regulatory change, we can use it.
Yeah, I'll find out. And I mean, I even know people that might be able to help us write, because depending on how it's structured. So I'm more than willing to help out, but we just came up with a dead end, and we can't find anything. So let me see if anyone in Washington comes up with something. Maybe they'll call HUD and find out through their liaison.
And one of the things
If we have to spend $6,000 on a consultant to get a $5,000 grant, obviously we're not going to do that.
I didn't say that. Why? It depends what they want us to get. You know, sometimes you can do it on the back of an envelope. Sometimes it's data-driven. You know, you don't know.
But if we can kick around a form,
I am on the grants.gov website because of the biotech company I work for, because we're trying to get grants for all kinds of things. So skimming around on there too, because it's all grants. So, but the thing that actually might be we could look into further is, because Old Lyme is on the lower scale of affordable housing, it means we actually are a higher priority. Like, we have more points, basically.
we do. We're a high
We have
priority.
High priority to get affordable housing. So in the state of Connecticut, anyways, we're higher up on the radar screen, and we're not below the radar. So I think that is favorable for any kind of Connecticut allocation of funding, but not necessarily federal.
Yeah, Milford's the same way. I will tell you, no one's knocked on my door to apply for this. And usually New Haven or Bridgeport advocates are always tied into Milford. So it surprised me when this came up, because no one's heard anything about this. And I was surprised, because we're a community of opportunity as well, like Old Lyme, you know. But
you know what I can do?
I'll follow up. Let's see what happens.
I'm in touch with RiverCog regularly, so I can drop a note up to RiverCog and see what they know too.
Yeah, and maybe they might be a better source to apply for money.
They're kind of tuned in at the state level, so maybe what the heck? We just ask, you aware of this?
I think we'll touch all the bases and see if we come up with something.
Yeah, good. Okay, this is strictly opportunistic, so
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
good. Thank you, and we'll just stay vigilant then. Anything else on that? Anything else in?
No, I did hear though that the state of Connecticut has unallocated ARPA funds. left over or not used. Yeah, not,
What do they do?
not allocated yet. Unallocated ARPA funds still.
Do they have a date when they have to?
Well, it's the same date as everybody, I think, the...
2026.
2026, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have time to sort of muddle over considering things,
So
but...
some of
They
the-
just want to give it to us?
But, yeah, but if we keep pestering them, maybe they'll give us
Well, if
something.
they could, because distribute that through the Department of Housing or
Yeah, I've
something.
seen some wacky things those funds have been used for, so...
Oh, I'm so pleased, I'm so mad at that, the stuff that it got spent on in my community.
Yeah.
And nothing on housing, so that's a sore point with me, but that's outside of this
Nothing
commission.
pandemic related. But anyhow,
Okay.
yeah, so there's opportunities still beyond this one particular grant.
Right.
Well, then, development opportunities. The obviously one at hand is, was the topic of our last special meeting and up on, what I always call Mile Creek Road. It's actually 4 Mile River Road. I've been mixing them up for 30 years. Thank you.
For Will and Button Ball, I always get those mixed up.
It's all mile something. 3 mile, 4 mile, 8 mile. Anyway, so a suggestion. We can talk about this a little bit, but we don't have really the time within this meeting. We have Jen's leaving at 6. We got a hard stop at 6:15 for me and 6:14 for Anthony. I don't think we're going to make a lot of progress. What I would suggest is 2 things. One is, in lieu of doing more open brainstorming tonight, to schedule another special meeting to tackle this, and in between now and then, putting a site visit together, and I can reach out to Vivian and try and organize something so we can, I know, Laura, you've taken an individual walk up there, so if we don't by ourselves, but it is private property, so if we really want to nose around, we can, and put your real estate,
It
you're a
was
real
hard
estate
for
agent, so
me to even to figure out boundaries. It was really hard.
and you have a
So I think it would be helpful to have Vivian with us just to...
kind of a press pass as a real
Clue us
estate agent,
in.
right? So that's good. So anyway, I'll get a hold of Vivian, see if we, and get hold of you folks. It's late until 8:30 now, so we can do it in the evening if that's better, or the afternoon. Anthony, I know you'll be at work, and we don't necessarily have to do it in one shot.
Right.
Without overly burdening Vivian. We want to do it in as few shots as possible. But I just wanted to put that out there. If our next steps on that would be to organize a site visit with Vivian, and then on the heels of that, get back together in a special meeting to kind of do another round of processing, and I'll tack onto that, potentially invite some more guests that might have something to contribute. I was thinking maybe getting someone from Land Trust and Open Space in with us.
Alan Poirier?
Alan was here, yeah, for the last one.
to join us on the walk or not?
Potentially on the walk, but definitely in the
Isn't Fred joining us?
and I did want to have reading my mind on this one. Did want to have the opportunity for Fred to join too.
Fred
He's Fred
Land Trust.
Fred Fenton.
Fred
Our-
Fenton.
our newest-
excuse me.
Our newest member. He's a former member of the Land Trust and would have some perspective there if they didn't come directly. So is that acceptable to everybody to move it that way? So we won't dig into it tonight, but we'll
Sounds
we'll
good.
take next steps on it. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lori and John, but I had one other thing to raise, and that was I noted that the proposal or the application to zoning to construct high-rise storage units on 250 Shore Road was rejected.
Unanimously.
Yep, and it was not the first round. I don't know what the status of that is, but certainly the Shoreline Gateway Commission, I'll talk about that next, is going to be looking at that whole region. Just from a drive-by and looking at the GIS, there's a potential there for a residential application. I don't know I have no idea what the owner is interested in, but so far that parcel is out there, and I don't know if we want to try and engage that as even just a potential opportunity. It's not a known opportunity, but it's just, so I don't know anything that the whole public doesn't know. Just noted that. So, and with that, I'll kick it to Lori and John. You can speak to that and anything else you got in the fire. John, you mentioned Tom Larson wants to come at a...
Yeah, Tom Larson would like to join the meeting next month. He's basically looking at developing that corner of where he is over there off of Crossroad and 156. And he's looking to use 830G to just maximize what he's going to put in there. But he was actually going to come to our meeting once after he'd met with his attorney and with an engineer to see what's plausible and then pick our brains a little bit. Seems like it's not a lot of units, but it's moving in the right direction. And actually, Anthony, it's $109 a square foot for the house.
You know, I couldn't buy my granddaughter a dollhouse for $109. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I sent Michael the budget, and I also sent the thing for the modular people with a quote.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. And,
as far as development, I don't have a whole lot of other things. We're hanging out waiting for to hear back from Mark Diebold when he finally pulls the trigger and they pull permits and move forward. But that's been an engineering and going in the right direction with the guys, his partners.
Good.
So I think that's about all I have right now.
Back on Tom Larson's potential project, you know, in concept at least, if you look at our strategy and our affordable housing plan, you know, one of the things that we're looking for is modest increases in density that aren't going to trigger the need for sewer or municipal water. So if it can be an on-site contained.
It's going to be a home run. It's he's trying to get 5 or 6 units in there. You know, he's going to have some affordable. I think he's talking about 50-50 affordable and market. You know, just depending on how the units are. So it's definitely, you know, any units we can get are great as far as I'm concerned.
So just at first blush, you know, with that stratospheric level description, that's so far in alignment with one of our key strategies. So let's keep
exactly. No, and it's not going to upset the apple cart, and we're not going to, you know, have people down with pitchforks and torches, you know, trying to burn it down. So we're in good shape.
No, you do a beautiful job with it. It may invite other people to come and use 8-30G, but that's
well. I think the more this stuff matriculates out, the more the town learns about it, the town learn about it and learn about how advantageous it is to do a 830G if you've got a piece of property and you know you want to put some things on there and it's a home run for the town and the property owner. So I think and it doesn't have to be you know 36 acres that Mark Diebold has or 46 acres, whatever he's got out there.
And that's what we're looking for, the win-wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Yeah.
Excellent. That's good news. Okay, anything else on the development opportunity front? So actions there is we're going to set up a site visit to the 4 Mile River Road properties and schedule a special meeting once I get some availability on that. I don't know if Vivian's going to need to be here for the next one, but I'll certainly offer it. And we want to get...
It would be great to have her at the land, because you get out there...
At the land, yeah.
Am I on Phoebe's land, and am I on Kevin Coos's land? And
yeah.
I couldn't really tell, but it was very pretty land.
Good. Okay. So there's our standing work streams. Shoreline Gateway, not a lot to report. It's not perfect scheduling because the Shoreline Gateway Commission meeting is actually the 3rd Thursday of the month, so we go a full month before I'm back to you folks to report on what happened. But in any case, we're taking, that committee will be taking next steps to try and wrap our heads around what came back as the most clear signal coming from the survey was that light remediation is a prerequisite to getting anything productive done in the Shoreline Gateway. So that's part of it. Also, just getting some of the groundwork for this. This is going to be a long haul. Just getting some sense of what the scope and objectives are for the committee, what the work product what form that will take. Most likely, some notion of, based on where it's been, I'm hesitant to use the Halls Road experience as an analogy, but a master plan and some proposals for regulatory change, potentially as an overlay, to try and promote the kind of development and evolution of that area that is deemed to be desirable for the town, while preserving the value that's captured in its history and geography and location.
So with that office building that's there, where the health company used to be,
Right.
There's no cars there ever?
We're not at that level.
Oh, no?
It's only that it's in the region. But yeah, having either distressed or vacant, doing something, and I think that's where it intersects with, one of the areas where it intersects with us. So this whole area of light remediation, or even opportunistic redevelopment of suboptimally developed or distressed commercial or residential properties there. Now that starts to intersect with our plans for adaptive reuse. And so we're still in the formative stages of this, but that's on the radar screen.
Just from a background knowledge, on Shore Road, where do sewers come up to? Just down towards the beach community? Not on Shore Road?
There's maps online. I just looked at them, Anthony. So I believe that they go up to, so they're in the beach districts, and then there's a town. So there's the beach communities, of which I think 3 of them are part of it, and one is already going on. And then there's also a town-owned, or a town non-beach community, non-beach association property that's more of a general district, and that runs roughly from Cross Lane, I think, east and north of 156. So the maps are online, so I'm quoting from my recollection of what I looked at on the maps. But if you go to the WPCA website, they have maps there.
Thank you.
So, early stages, I'll keep you posted, but I definitely see areas where those plans are going to intersect with ours, and I think that will manifest as opportunities, and our expertise will be helpful there. So that's that. Any questions, discussion on that? I'll keep you posted. It'll be a month out of phase, I'm sorry. But if anything comes up tomorrow that we need to know or be useful for us, I won't keep it a secret for a month. Pass it right along. Okay. New business. I have none. Any other matters arising that we want to take up?
Not for me.
Pretty busy standing stuff at this point. I hope to have some new projects at some point, not too distant future. Get the McCulloch one off the ground, and maybe we can get some new ones cooking. Okay, upcoming meetings. Our June meeting will be in June 21st.
So is that summer solstice? June 21st.
It is?
Yep. So that's the night of Make Music, Old Line,
Oh, is it?
Line Street that I go to every year, and you're going to have music, of course, all over the street.
For 10 minutes and adjourn?
Yes, 10 minutes and then we can adjourn. Make Music. Cheryl Poirier's just writing to me.
Okay.
I was looking at my calendar
It's
going,
solstice.
oh no, it's summer solstice.
I love summer solstice too, so maybe we want to reschedule that meeting.
There will be a musician in front of Town Hall, and Braden Sunshine will be at Center School with the Lions Club. It will be a little loud
So,
in Town Hall.
thank you for that, Laurie.
I
So,
know, I just was looking.
I think we're going to want to reschedule that, yeah?
I would.
Okay, so we're going to reschedule our June meeting. All right, between now and whenever the June meeting happens, sidewalk and a special meeting to talk about development opportunities.
In the
and
June 1st informational.
an informational session from McCulloch and the subsequent Board of Selectmen meeting.
And just for our calendars, like June 1st, it's like a 7 o'clock type?
We're thinking evening, but
I know. It's
we're just kind of targeting, what we want to do is give ourselves as much time to firm up what we're going to do, compile the information, and get the word out. Also, Habitat for Humanity has their annual meeting on May 31st, so they're busy prepping for that. So we want to balance between keeping up the momentum and the progress, but not forcing it. So we're looking at the week just before the next Board of Selectmen meeting, which is June 5th, which would put us in that week, not on the Friday. Things we're considering is to do it sort of as a 7 o'clock meeting, and like we did for the informational sessions for plan, potentially doing it as a video so that we can, as a virtual meeting, so that we can get people coming in virtually, depending on who's available for an in-person meeting. Given where we are with the pandemic, and it would be nice to have it here even as a hybrid, but
Oh, yeah.
So tentatively June 1st, 7 o'clock.
that's the current target, but there's a lot of confirmation to doing that yet. That'll happen over the next couple of days.
Understood.
But that week. So those are the upcoming meetings and agenda items. Anything else that we've got? Tom in June.
That's a lot.
There we go. It's going to be a busy summer. Okay then. Which brings us
Just
to...
a question. Tom Larson wants to come to our next meeting, but would he come to the special meeting? Is that an option?
Actually, I was thinking the same thing. Why not invite him?
Because we scheduled June 21st, so that's off.
Yeah, I might make it sooner than June.
Okay.
Be like
Than
the
June
21st,
21st.
right?
Yeah. If we
June,
can,
yeah.
I'll look at the calendar and see what we're going to do for it. But I think Tom will be that's a little bit more concrete, so I think we could have Tom in the special meeting, but I'm thinking of the special meeting as just kind of more of a blue sky meeting, where we have one item on the agenda, we dedicate it to the opportunities, and it's kind of blue sky. It sounds, correct me on this, but it sounds like Tom is, kind of on a path here, and we're going to have a little bit more concrete discussion to have.
That is correct. So you probably have that's a good point. We'll take him up at the next meeting, because,
Okay.
Sounds good.
Good. We'll stay on that. If that changes, John, you know where to find me.
Absolutely.
Okay, with that,
Tentatively 6/21, or is it not 6/21?
6/21
we're going to
is off.
reschedule the June 21st regular commission meeting so that we can all enjoy the music instead of being in here having to work around it. And enjoy that day, the longest day of the year.
The longest day of the year.
What's the event in Old Lyme, Paul?
It's
Again,
called Make Music Old Lyme.
I'm going to
Okay, Jen has 2 minutes to make her Board of Ed meeting.
2 minutes.
Good news, it's right across the street. So if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jen, and second. Okay. Let's wait for that. Jen, John. Any discussion? None. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you.
Unanimous. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, John.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for getting back to me.